from the Children's Chorus of Maryland.
Baltimore Blast will take on the Orlando SeaWolves, the Girl Scouts of Central Maryland, singing the national anthem here tonight. And we are about ready to get underway for the Blast. A quick turnaround, 24 hours, less than 24 hours since their last game finished. They played last night against the Rochester Lancers, and they'll have to do it again quickly against the 1-11 Orlando SeaWolves. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Andrew Primrose. I'll be on the broadcast solo tonight. Paul Mittermeier on assignment down in Florida. So we look at this matchup. Blast 9-6 after hovering around the 500 mark and struggling in the playoff standings. They've righted the ship here, schedule cooperating with them, and they have now moved into a tie for fourth place in a playoff spot with Harrisburg. Harrisburg, of course, has the head-to-head win so far over top the Blast, but the Blast will have several opportunities to rectify that situation. But with Harrisburg's loss, the overtime loss on Thursday in Kansas City, and then last night they lost to St. Louis. And unfortunately, if you're a Harrisburg fan, no time to look back as they have to move forward and play Milwaukee Wave, second place Milwaukee Wave today as well. So for Harrisburg, no chance to rest. But on this game here tonight, rematch from a game last week, 7-0 shutout from the Baltimore Blast down in Lakeview. The Blast shutting out Orlando, avenging an earlier loss. Actually, the only loss of the season, or the only win of the season for Orlando, rather, was against this Blast team. And, you know, if you look at Orlando's record, they've had a lot of turnover this year. They've had a lot of turmoil in the front office. Staff has changed. Actually, 3 players in the Blast uniform tonight came and started the season in Orlando, and 1 more made the switch earlier in the year. So a lot of turnover for them. But if you look at the SeaWolves' last 3 games, take out that Blast 7-0 shutout, they lost 5-8 to San Diego in Lakeview. Great game. It was 3-2 at halftime. They really hung with the Sockers, again, one of the best teams in the MASL. And then their last game, they played the St. Louis Ambush, and that was an 8-7 game. So they've definitely got some momentum going. They're getting things working. Tommy Traxler in as the coach now. He's added some players and got some experience here. They still have some young players that are learning the game, but it'll be an interesting matchup here tonight as the Blast have already lost a game, are stuck are tight into the playoff race. And for Orlando, they're playing for their futures. They're playing for shots on the to get jobs in this league and to continue to play. So this should be an interesting one. Take a look at the starting lineups for the Blast. William Banzella gets the starting goal. He missed the first game, the game that Orlando won down in Lakeview. He will start in goal. Tony Donatelli, Adriano Dos Santos, Jonathan Mello, and Vinny Dantas, the other starters. For Orlando, Jeff Michaud, Luis Moto, Rodolfo Lopez, Eduardo Cruz, Rafa Tobias, and Fernando Cortez gets the starting goal. We'll talk more about that goalie matchup later today, as that clearly flavors the Blast. Scratches today, Andrew Hoxie's down for the Blast, along with Juan Galvis, Kita, and Jeremy Raley for the Blast. Rafael Nascimento down for the SeaWolves. And we are underway here in Baltimore with MISL soccer on Sunday afternoon. And right off the bat, a 3-line pass as Fernando Cortez, and we see that often early in the games here in Baltimore with teams struggling on this short field. We'll see if the Blast can force the capitalize on this mistake. Jamie Thomas and Mello on top. Run across, and miscommunication there as Mello backheeled it for Vinny Dantas, but Vinny was running the other direction. Here's a counterattack for Orlando, and it's shot and a score! Orlando forces the capitalizes on the Blast mistake, and here we are 25 seconds in, and the Blast are down 1-0. So no shutout here tonight as the Blast quickly falls behind. Rafa Tobias with the goal. Rafa Tobias picks up the goal. Naka with the assist. And then you see that quick pass back and forth, and it trickles in. William Banzella got a foot in. What we don't see was all of that came from a bad restart by the Blast off the yellow line on a 3-line pass. So the Blast struggled in the first half against an overmatched Rochester team last night, and here they are again, falling behind quickly to Orlando. Naka moves the ball down in the corner for Orlando. Orlando in the all-white kits playing against the Blast in their red and black jerseys. Orlando going from right to left on your screen. They've controlled possession early. There's Alex Tozer, relatively new addition, playing in his second game. Of course, his father, an icon in indoor soccer history. Alex has some experience playing in this league. Fernando Cortez drives it down in the box, and that'll be a three-line pass, a mistake by Juan Pereira. Cortez tried to move it along, and Pereira, just a mental lapse there as he stepped into it and kicked it too far. And 98% of the arenas in this league, that wouldn't have been a problem, but here it gives Orlando a chance for a restart. Naka on the ball. Well, most of the fans hadn't made their way to the seat, and the Blast are already trailing 1-0 here. Blast looking to call for a handball, not given. And Orlando controls possession. Tozer moves it over to Mota. Mota will send it back to Cruz. Turnover, Mike Diesel steps in front. Juan Pereira has some space. Tozer's closing. Juan can't move it across. NDI was making a run, but he couldn't get over to it. Mo NDI, of course, last night played defense, and will be back on that back line tonight. Talked to Danny Kelly before the game, and they were happy with what they saw from the big forward. He's very young, but he has some great physical skills. And, of course, he made some mistakes, gave up a goal last game. But, you know, for the Blast, this is a great opportunity for him to get some experience. And, you know, when Blast have players down, you got Jeremy Raley on the bench, you got Kalu on the bench, you got some players that are hurt, so he has to step up. Cortez drives the ball down. Juan Pereira with a great pass to Victor France. Victor France kind of alone in the corner, waiting for people to get there. You see Mike De Silva on the field. Mike De Silva, another pickup from Orlando with Victor France and Richard Schmerman. Schmerman is not playing today, getting the rest day after playing last night. There's De Silva working it across, and he'll send it back to Donatelli. Donatelli will catch breath, and the Blast will get their first sustained possession time. De Silva with the work. He's got room. Great save by Cortez as he goes down low. De Silva probably could have done a little bit better on that shot, but he'll get another opportunity as Cortez reaches across the line. The Blast thought he was clearly over. Cortez held it there so the referee, Dustin Killick, could look at it, and he agreed. Sam Guernsey with pressure, and it creates a turnover as Adriano Dos Santos has got a 3-on-3, works it to Guernsey, but Guernsey pulls it back out and eventually loses possession and then wins it back. Mike De Silva and Sam Guernsey, great job to earn possession back for the Blast, and the Blast will have more possession time. Jamie Thomas has it at the point. He gets it down to Vinny Dantas. Vinny Dantas off the boards. No one home. Well, the Blast certainly done a better job maintaining possession after that early flurry by Orlando. But here, as I say that, Orlando gets possession back. Mashad moves it up. Cortez with the ball on his foot, trying to break the press of the Blast. They're going with a midfield pressure. Crosses the yellow line. Cortez does, sends it down in the corner. Cruz fighting along the boards. Naka wins it. Give and go back to Naka. 10:50 left in the first quarter. 1-0 lead for the Orlando SeaWolves, the visiting SeaWolves. The Blast playing back-to-back nights, home games here. In a game they have to win. Shot off the boards, it goes wide. Vinny Dantas has a 3-on-1, sends it over to Donatelli, just a bit wide. Tony looking back for Vinny. Cruz does well to get down low and make the save. A nice slide tackle to drive it out. The ball bounced along the boards, and the Blast will get a restart just on the yellow line. Adriano Dos Santos will provide, and the Blast will make a line shift. The ball back to Juan Pereira. So great opportunity there, maybe just a little bit long on that pass from Vinny to Tony Donatelli that forced that ball out, but Vinny had some room on that pass back, just could not finish it. And then we'll see a foul called as Naka and Pereira come together. Lucas Roque very upset as he wanted advantage to keep going. He thought he had a chance to move forward, but not called, and now he gets the ball back. Back to the goal. He'll work it back to Dos Santos. Dos Santos over to Nascimento. Nascimento picked up 2 goals last night in his return to action. He had come back from last year's injury, but had missed a couple games in a row, kind of getting back into form and fit and, you know, earning playing time. And he arrived in a big way last night with 2 goals for the Blast in the win. Orlando with another scoring opportunity. This one wide to the left. Naka with a drive, but Cruz does well to win it back. Trickles back to William Vanzella. Vanzella with a quick restart. Lucas Roque 1-on-2. Down into the corner. Does well to maintain possession. Matched up against Michaud. They fight. He sends it back to Nascimento. A frantic first half pace for both teams. Sam Guernsey onto the field early today, as he played very sparingly last night. Only came on late in the fourth quarter of that game, but he will get some time tonight, especially with Richard Schmerman down tonight after Schmerman played a fair amount of the minutes basically every game since he's arrived here in Baltimore. 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Blast still trailing 1-0. Mike Diesel and Mello work the ball down low to De Silva. De Silva can't win it, but Mello runs onto it. And we're seeing a zone defense again from Orlando. Looks like they watched that game last week, as we see a box in one. That game last night, they saw the success that Rochester had, and they're bringing it back as Michaud works it down. Naka into the corner. He's alone by himself. 5-on-1, and Naka somehow gets a shot into William Vanzella. Not good team defense for the Blast. Orlando tried to make a change there. Naka was alone, and somehow he still managed to get to goal. De Silva, Mello, Guernsey, Donatelli, and Diesel on the field for the Blast. Lopez, Asbazaldi, and that foul's going to be called on Guernsey, going to the Blast goal, and Guernsey's not happy with that call. Tozer will preside. And it hits the referee. So Tozer gets the call but punishes the official. That's Robert Faraday down there, the senior official in tonight's game. Cortez works it across. He's done well with his foot here tonight. He finds Tozer in the corner. Tozer's playing a lot of minutes since arriving. Cruz wanted that ball. Tozer said, I have it. $7:15 left in the first quarter. Back and forth affair early on. Blast fell down quickly, 25 seconds into the game, but have been in a stalemate ever since. Possession about roughly equal. The Blast maybe a little bit more, but pretty equal game and a good, we talked in the pregame, this was not going to be a walkover for for the Blast, as Orlando's played well in their last couple games since settling on this alignment and having Coach Tommy Traxler come in and kind of stabilize the ship. Blast in a man-to-man defense. Guernsey with the high pressure, but still the pass gets down into the box. Mike De Silva, good job forcing Mota out, rather. Mota pushes down, and then Tozer spills Guernsey. He's not happy with it, but Guernsey earned it. Blast will make a wholesale line change. Jamie Thomas was hiding along the bench, but was discovered quickly. And we'll see Dos Santos and William Vanzella have the 1-2 game. William trapped by that midfield line. He's got to get rid of that ball quickly. Of course, in the MASL, a goalie cannot pass the midfield line until the fourth quarter. New rule put in effect, a lot of it because of this field here and not allowing a sixth attacker basically unchallenged. Dantas with the ball in the corner. Dantas works it across, tries to find Jamie Thomas, but Cortez is there, picks it up. He's got to get rid of the ball, close to 4 seconds. He throws it down. Thomas heads it back to Dantas. Tried to find a streaking Jamie Thomas, but just missed him. Blast have possession. Dos Santos with room, winds up. Good job by Tozer to get in the way, but he can't clear it out. Now he's going to get a 3-line pass. Frustration. He was trapped in that corner and feeling the pressure from Dos Santos and just wanted to get rid of it. And, this will be the second yellow line restart for the Blast. The first one was a great scoring opportunity for Orlando as they heel back to a player that wasn't there. Now France will send it along to Dantas. Dantas one-touch shot, saved by Cortez. It bounced up into Tozer and then fell right back down to Cortez. There's Naka with a drive from the yellow line. NDI's got space. If he can get the ball to Victor France, he does. There's a 3-on-2 for the Blast. Victor France with room, shot right into Cortez's stomach. There's Juan Pereira, drives it back down to NDI. NDI to France. France can't finish it. NDI off the boards, and the Blast are peppering the goal. NDI is going to get called for a silly foul here as he stuck his arm up. And Mo NDI not happy with the Blast offense there. There's 3 or 4 scoring opportunities for the Blast, unable to capitalize on any of them. So quick opportunity, France. Roque did great job heading that down to Victor France, but France unable to capitalize. Here's the counterattack from Orlando, and Naka, that ball got trapped behind William Venzel in the boards. And now we'll see an official's timeout. We'll take a timeout on the field. With a timeout on the field, we'll take a timeout too. It's 1-0 SeaWolves, 4:47 left in the first quarter. You're watching Blast Soccer on MASL TV.
No, 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 no.
Jack, can I talk to you? I think you need one of these. You're acting like a kid.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Have a blast and score big at Antwerpen Automotive. Jack is saying yes to every deal on all new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus discounts up to $15,000 and no payments for 3 months. Now at all 10 Antwerpen locations.
Jack says yes!
All right, we're back here at Baltimore CQ Arena, just outside of Baltimore, actually in Towson, Maryland, on the campus of Towson University. The new CQ Arena, just constructed a couple years ago. The Blast happy to move into this state-of-the-art facility, drawing great crowds from the community. And you saw the bench there is Coach Danny Kelly not happy with his Blast team being down 1-0 to a team that they clearly have a talent and experience gap over. But that has not translated so far today, as not only does Orlando have the 1-0 goal, but they've played this Blast team very tight. And they'll have a scoring opportunity here as Tommy Traxler has his team drawing up a play. They'll have a deep restart down on the left side of the Blast defensive end. Mashad, Sandage, Tobias, Cruz, and Naranjo. No, Naranjo goes out and Lopez stays on. So that's this 5 for Orlando. And Cruz will preside over the free kick. He looks to pass it back to Mashad. Mashad will work it around. High pressure from Mello. Cortez and Cruz trying to break the press from Roque. Here comes Mello again. Roque has the pressure, has the SeaWolves pushed back, but good job by Cruz and Rojas to break it. Donatelli gets beat, but oh no. The Orlando SeaWolves, a second goal as Tony Donatelli got beaten. I was getting ready to say it doesn't cost the Blast, but it did. We'll see on the restart, Tony Donatelli was worked deep in the corner. And a goal by Jeff Mashad, and the SeaWolves are up 2-0 here on the Blast. You see on the replay there, the ball worked out. Donatelli low in the corner, loses the ball, just steps over top. Pass back, one touch, and a great shot. And William Vanzella screened by Donatelli, unable to step in front. So a stunned crowd here in Baltimore as Jeff Mashad picks up the second SeaWolves goal of the season, of the game. And the Blast are down 2-0. Jamie Thomas and Ciamento work to fight for the ball in the corner. So not the start the Blast fans wanted to see, as Orlando off to a quick 2-0 lead. We talked about it several times now. This is an Orlando team that's played several good teams well. They were a 3-2 game against San Diego at home. San Diego, of course, one of the better teams in the MASL. Jamie Thomas is going to get a frustration foul. He's not happy about the call. Naranjo laying down on the field, and he's asking for help. Jamie Thomas standing over top of him. And now Naranjo will have to come off because the whistle was called, and He seems to be walking fine. So, well, I mean, it was whistled, but yeah, he's got to come off. They're talking to each other. He stopped the play, so the rule is it was stop. It was an injury, so nope. They're going to say no. They're going to say that's not what happened. Looks pretty clear that it was, but either way, he stays on. Looks to be healthy. Cortez lines up a shot. That'll go high. We've seen that from several goalies here, that midfield stripe so close to the opposing goal. It's enticing for opposing goalies. We've seen several players do that, and we've actually seen a goalie score here in Baltimore with their foot, so it is capable. Of course, William Vanzella has done it with his arm, but we've seen it happen. And then Tozer with his second unforced error, as though we'll get a second top of the arc restart from Tozer with an unforced error. And let's see if the Blast can capitalize. Dos Santos, Mello, Donatelli. You got Victor France down low. The Blast have looked to find Victor France on these plays in the past. Instead, they'll go across to Donatelli. Donatelli finds France, who drives it but goes high. Great design play there as Victor France was lurking, but you made one extra pass over to Donatelli to try and get that wall and the goalie to move. It all worked. Victor France just couldn't get the shot down on net. If he had, it would have been a Blast goal. 3:22 in the first quarter. Orlando off to a relatively stunning 2-0 lead against the Blast. Of course, the Blast 9-6, tied for 4th place in the MASL Eastern Division, tied with Harrisburg. Tozer wins the ball. He gets a shot off. Vanzella does well to make the leg save, or this could have been a 3-0 game. Donatas will be tripped from behind. Tozer pulled him, tripped him down, and Dantas thought maybe that was worth a card. Either way, the Blast will get possession. And Vinny Dantas has some room now. Can he make something happen? Moves it to his left foot across to Donatelli. Donatelli with space, works it across, chip over to Dantas. Dantas finds it, could not find the net, and that ball carries 3 rows into the upper deck, as that was a drive from Vinny Dantas. If he'd gotten over top of that one, that would have been in the back of the net. We've seen him score from that angle twice already this weekend. But it was not meant to be for the Blast. Roque and Pereira come onto the field for the Blast. Tobias with a bad touch, but able to save it and settle it. He kicks it back to the goalie. Cortez works it down. Michaud will push up. Michaud with a great pass, but just a bit too long as Mike Diesel was beat. So Orlando not playing like a 1-11 team right now, aside from the score. Juan Pereira with some space has Michaud. Now Michaud does a great job to hold his ground. Diesel, Mello, and Roque working the triangle. Blast plenty of patience as Nascimento works it across. Juan finds Roque down low, but Cruz steps in front. And just like last night, the Blast maintained possession. Juan tries to take the shot, blocked, but it goes right to Nascimento. Nascimento finds Juan. Juan with the drive, just high. And that'll be a goalkeeper distribution for Orlando and a chance for both teams to make wholesale subs. As we get a line shift and a little bit of difficulty getting the ball out of those nets. Of course, with CQ, that's that short bench area on the side to fit it in on what is usually a basketball court. It'd be a little creative in fitting it in, and so you have that one goal pushed up against the nets, or pushed up against the stands. Creates an interesting dynamic. Michaud has some space. He takes another shot, left-footed this time from the opposite side, way high, but Blast are going to have to step in front of him. He's had 2 opportunities now to drive, capitalized on the first one. For Michaud, that was his 6th goal of the game and his 6th goal of the season in his 9th game. Good season for the defender. Dos Santos spilled. Jamie Thomas fights for the ball. He'll win it and send it all the way back to William Vanzella. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in a first quarter that has not gone Baltimore's way. Orlando content to maintain possession and kind of run out this clock. The Blast, of course, would love to score a goal here, get some momentum going, create a turnover as the ball clicks under 1 minute. Tony Donatelli sets things up. The veteran captain looks to find Vinny Dantas down low. Vinny has space, sends it all the way across. Cortez does well to get on the ball and get down low. As if that ball had been a little farther out, Tony Donatelli was on the right post. And the SeaWolves will call a timeout here with 35 seconds left. Interesting timeout there. I'm not sure what they saw on that timeout. I didn't know if it came from the bench or if the goalie saw it, if there was substitution problem coming. But either way, an interesting time and use of the timeout there. And Tom Traxel will talk to his team, get his SeaWolves over there and regrouped. And for Danny Kelly, an opportunity for him to draw something up in this last 30 seconds. If they can win possession back, how will they go about trying to get that elusive first goal? As we take this timeout, let's take a second to talk about some of our sponsors in the MASL. MASL Primetime is the new home for the best highlights, interviews, and action from the MASL each week. Catch the latest episode each Friday as Alex hosts this 30-minute deep dive into the MASL. Make sure to catch every episode. And then this week's primetime episode of MSL Primetime is a can't-miss show, as the host will show you all the greatest highlights from this week and talks to Harrisburg Heat goaltender Willie B about that exciting finish in Tacoma. I think that's a little late. Maybe we'll get a new read next time for that. But tune into that show. It's a great show. They're doing a good job of highlighting some of the exciting things going on across the MASL. As we talked to Ed Hale last night at halftime of the broadcast, and you know, this is an exciting time for the league. There's a lot of things going on, new teams coming in, new players coming in. Status quo not quite what it has been. Milwaukee, of course, still in second place, but if you look at first place, Florida had struggled since they came into the league, and now they're in first place, one of the dominant teams in the league. And Harrisburg has not won consistently since they came in. Of course, new owner Carl Delmont has moved in there and instilled a new system. The Healy family has kind of moved up to the Harrisburg area, and they're doing some great things. And the Blast will see a lot of Harrisburg at the end of the season, and Blast fans will get a chance to see that rivalry renewed. William Vanzella with 20 seconds left. He'll try and work it down. Ball comes across to Cortez. And we'll see what called here. Dustin Kicklick calls a whistle. We'll see a pass back to the goalies, what they're discussing. The two officials, Robert Faraday and Dustin Kicklick. They'll say that it was a pass back. And so as such, it'll be a top of the arc restart. So they call pass back to, we can't see it quite on that replay as it didn't look like it came across, but Tozer was saying that it was his head. All right, we're getting word that on that replay it showed that it was his head, so tough call for the SeaWolves with 16.7 seconds left. And now they'll go over and talk to the third official. We'll see if they can get that corrected. The Blast bench will not like that. And they will not change it. So the play stays in. As we understand it, it was headed back. So not sure. We'll have to get some clarification on that. As the Blast get a shot, unable to score. Lucas Roque and Vinny Dantas both had it on their feet down by the bench, but unable to capitalize. Orlando looks content to let this run out. Dantas unhappy with it. He'll drive. 0.6 seconds left. He wanted to take that scoring opportunity. He wasn't happy with it, but couldn't get on top of it. And we will go into the second quarter with the SeaWolves up 2-0 on the Baltimore Blast. Has to be one of the more surprising results of the season since Orlando beat Baltimore. You see the clock run out, and that'll do it for the first quarter. You're watching Baltimore Blast Soccer on MASL TV. We'll be back with the second quarter.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because
End of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Our country has changed over the last 80 years. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're not just embracing this change, we're driving it in our own backyard. As a local not-for-profit, we're tackling some of the region's biggest health challenges and making care more accessible for you by providing access to digital tools, transforming healthcare for over 3 million of your neighbors, forging new paths to live fearless. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And we're back here in Baltimore, and as we've said, a surprising first quarter as Orlando with a 2-0 lead over the Baltimore Blast. Rafa Tobias opened the scoring 25 seconds into the game. It was a poor restart from the Blast as there was miscommunication on the restart. Vinny Dantas went one way, Melo passed it back to him, and Tobias capitalized, and then later on, Jeff Mashad won a ball about the yellow line on the right side of the yellow line and was able to send it in. 10:51 left, and Orlando has a 2-0 lead. Take a look at the saves so far. Cortez has 4 saves on 4 shots against. William Vanzella 1 save on 3 shots against. And we look at 4 shots total from Orlando, 8 shots from the Blast. Orlando actually with 4 blocks in that first quarter. The Blast 1 block. Orlando with 4 fouls, the Blast with 3, and we're ready to get underway. And we can't miss the game action here early on, as we saw in the start of the second quarter last night against Rochester. The Blast scored just 4 seconds in. 1-touch pass from Melo to Vinny Dantas, and Dantas finished it quickly. They try and recreate the magic as Melo will get his own scoring opportunities. The ball bounced across, but he can't do anything with it. And we'll see a goalie restart for Orlando. Naka has some space, but Diesel wins it back for the Blast. Vinny Dantas with his spins. A whirling dervish of goal scoring. 23 goals on the season for the big forward from Brazil. Looking to add 24 here tonight. Mo NDI still getting used to playing on that back line. He does well to maintain possession. William Vanzella has some room now, and he'll work the ball down to Dantas. Dantas guarded by Mashad. Mashad and Dantas. Ball comes back to Diesel, who works it over to Pereira. Pereira, of course, so good on the ball. Quick change of direction every time he's on the dribble. The ball's never more than 2 or 3 inches from his feet. So he's able to change pace so quickly. He can look like he's jogging and moving, and the next second he's 10 feet behind you as he turn on the afterburners. One of the best midfielders in the game. Donatelli has space on the right side. NDI couldn't find him with the pass, though. Roque and Donatelli win it back. Try and get across to Pereira, can't find him. That'll be a handball. Tobias sticks the hand up to knock it down. And that'll be a restart for the Blast. Not called. Or not happy with the call, rather, as Orlando, but it seemed pretty clear that Tobias got that arm up high. Pereira on the drive, tries to go far post, low, can't do it. Dos Santos shoots. Again, wide left. Cruz and Lopez will start the break the other way for Orlando. Have to be impressed with the way the SeaWolves have played here tonight. A lot of heart from Tom Traxler's men, making the trip up here to Baltimore. Of course, Baltimore playing its second game in less than 24 hours. But that's not take anything away from this Orlando SeaWolves team. It's dangerous pass in the middle, but Orlando once again maintains possession. Down low, Naka has it, tries to get it across. He can. William Vanzello come across. He kicks it out. .12:31 left in the second quarter. Jamie Thomas with a dangerous slide tackle, gets away with it. It's a tough situation to try something like that. Of course, if he misses the ball and gets body, it's a penalty shot, but does well as De Silva gets bodied off by Tozer. De Silva's got to do a better job of winning that ball as Jamie Thomas will be taken down. No call, and here comes Orlando the other way. That's Sandalage down there. He tries to win it back and he can't, and here come the Blast. Ping pong soccer. Mike Diesel, the train on the tracks. Runs down, sends it over to Thomas. Thomas can't finish. The boards are broken. Mike Diesel was at full speed, and he went hard into those boards. And then behind that, we have an injured Orlando player. It looks like Alex Tozer is laying down low. So Tozer will get back up. But, man, Mike Diesel was on a full breakaway. The train was coming down the tracks, and when he hit those boards, he absolutely split the separator there that holds them together. We'll see. We'll work on the that is Jamie Thomas. We're waiting for maintenance here. Typically, usually stop play when we get to a situation like this. The referees haven't indicated that. As we see Robert Faraday over there talking. It's Mickey Coachella, part of the Blast front office. And I guess they determined that the glass as it's constituted now is safe to play. So we'll move on. It'll be interesting to keep track of any collisions down in that corner. Well, good scoring opportunity for the Blast, but they can't capitalize. Here's another one as Dantas has space, tries to drive it. He gets hit from behind. No call. Then Cortez right on the line. Vinny Dantas absolutely screaming at Dustin Kellick right now, asking for that call as he got pushed from behind when he went to take that shot. Dos Santos wins it back. Here's Dantas with room. Tries to go one give and go back to Dos Santos, but can't find him. Dos Santos does well to win possession, and the Blast will maintain. So scoring opportunities, no goals for the Blast. Victor France, the former SeaWolf, came over in the offseason. Missed a lot of games early on in this season because of visa issues that affected the league. Come back on, and he's done very well to invigorate this Blacks offense. He's a guy that they were extremely excited about in off-season training, and he's matched up on Tozer right now. They didn't play together as Tozer was acquired after Victor France left. There's a pass all the way across. Donatelli tries to find net. The expecting father tries to get another goal for the baby. Dantas down low. He's bodied up. That was Kaufman on the body there. Good job out physicaling Vinny Dantas. And there's a long pass. Nascimento was waiting to see if that stayed in, and Tobias knew it wasn't. Tobias wins that ball down in the corner. Nascimento has to do a better job of, even if he thinks he's going to go out, he's got to stay on that ball. Tricky pass there for Dos Santos back to Vanzella. Vanzella tries to find Victor France. France screened out. And right now, Orlando is the more physical team. Tobias takes a long drive into the corner, finds Luis Mota. Mota a little quiet here tonight as Mota's been one of the best players for the SeaWolves all season. And he hasn't done much here tonight. And we got another stoppage as it looks like the boards, there's another piece of the boards that have fallen down. So definitely a physical game. The boards have lost two pieces so far. Bodies flying everywhere as the SeaWolves are taking this very seriously. And the Blast are going to have to match this intensity. Talk about the season Luis Mota's having. He's played 12 games so far, 11 goals, 14 points, both leading this SeaWolves team. In fact, he's the only one with double-digit goals for the SeaWolves team. So, guy that's paced the offense, and it's got to be a good sign for the SeaWolves that they have a 2-0 lead, and Mota hasn't done anything yet. Juan Pereira won the ball but couldn't do anything with it. Cortez has it now. He's done well in these long passes into the corner. Orlando settles Machad on it. He scored the second goal of the first quarter. There's a shot that goes all the way to the corner flag. Looked like it was a cross between a shot and a long pass to trying to get to the far boards. Didn't do its job either way. And William Vanzello will reset to Mike Diesel. Mike Diesel had that great run a couple minutes ago where he went end to end, just couldn't finish it. And he couldn't finish the pass there as Lucas Roque can't settle. And now Mike Diesel has to go back the other direction. Good job to head it back and win it for Mello. Mello now has space, marked up with Cruz. Stops on a dime and sends it back. 9 minutes left. The Blast, despite outshooting the SeaWolves 8-4 in the fourth quarter, or in the first quarter rather, trail 2-0. I'll get the quarters right one of these days. Stay with us. It will be the fourth quarter at some point, then we'll be right. Mike De Silva plays the game with Mello. Mello back to De Silva, shot and goal! Mello to De Silva to the goal. .8:41 in the second quarter. Mike De Silva. There you see the give and the go. De Silva, no doubt about it. Mello, De Silva, Mello, De Silva, back of the net. And the Blaster in the game and on the scoreboard. And I think we'll see a yellow card now. We see a yellow card given to Orlando. As Orlando picks up a yellow card in the aftermath of that. I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like it was Michaud kicked the ball off the boards after that goal and it hit the referee. So that's the call. Dustin Killick saying that the ball hit him after it was kicked into the boards. And so Michaud will go into the bench for 5 minutes, or into the box rather for 5 minutes. That's a tough call, as you see that often in the indoor game, frustration, and the ball gets kicked around. But Dustin Killick having nothing to do with that, as he's saying that ball hit him in the side of the head, and he sends Michaud to the bench, and that'll be a big blow for this Orlando team. Is not only do they give up the first goal, but they lose one of their better defenders into the box, a guy that's already scored a goal tonight and has 6 on the season. So more pressure on Tozer, playing one of his first games in this Orlando SeaWolves uniform. And here come the Blast. Dantas with some room. He sends it across to Thomas. Thomas jumps out of the way. Cortez does well to save it. Nascimento finds Thomas. This will not be a man advantage. Yellow card in the MASL game. Only a 5-minute penalty where the player has to serve in the box. He can't play in the game, but his team stays at even strength. Nascimento with room, tries to find it back of the net, but he can't. Dantas did well to get the ball over to Nascimento, but nothing doing for the big defender. Well, pressure's definitely picked up from the Blast here. Offensively, they're knocking on the door. The Blast just haven't been able to capitalize. We'll see if Dantas can do it here with space. Tries to find Jamie Thomas. If he could have found him, that would have been the second goal. Doesn't. Here comes Donatelli with a dangerous run. He guesses right. Here's the pass to Dantas. Dantas shoots just off the post there. Dantas real close to finding that. He finds Donatelli in the middle. Great job by Tozer to make that save. Jamie Thomas with a drive, but that goes high. And that'll be tipped. And that'll be tipped in a corner kick. So that'll change. It'll be a corner kick and tipped, and we'll take an official's timeout. And while they do that, we'll take one too. 7:32 left in the second quarter, and the Blast are trailing SeaWolves 2-1. You're watching Blast Soccer on MASL TV.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
No, 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 no.
Jack, can I talk to you? I think you need one of these. You're acting like a kid.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Have a blast and score big at Antwerpen Automotive. Jack is saying yes to every deal on all new and pre-owned vehicles. Plus discounts up to $15,000 and no payments for 3 months. Now at all 10 Antwerpen locations.
Jack says yes!
Well, Well, if you're Orlando, you're not happy with the call made here as the ball was kicked out by Juan Pereira, but the referee, Dustin Killick, stepped in front and said that that was a deflection, and the Blast will get a corner kick down. If you're looking at your screen on the left side, the offensive zone for the Blast, they'll have a corner kick and the media timeout to review their play call. So good scoring opportunity for the Blast as they look to equalize this game. Jeff Michaud in the bench with a 5-minute game misconduct for kicking the ball that hit an official after a goal. And 3 minutes and 52 seconds left on that penalty. So teams at equal strength, but a key defender missing for Orlando in this sequence. It'll be Roque, Mello, NDI, Pereira, and Diesel. I couldn't find Diesel there hiding on the corner. That'll be who's in for the Blast. So they'll have the scoring opportunity. Roque runs straight through the wall. Mello sends it back to NDI. NDI to Pereira. Pereira cannot turn on that ball as he kicks it high and far. So nifty runs on that play. Unfortunately, Pereira can't finish the shot, and the Blast waste the scoring opportunity. 7:30 left in the half. 3:49 on the penalty. 2-1 SeaWolves. High pressure from Roque, but it's beat, at least momentarily. NDI and Roque. Still haven't cleared the yellow line. Now they do, and they do well to do so as Naka was in the box, got ahead on the ball, sends it over, but it goes wide to the right, into the netting, stuck in the netting again. We've got to figure out how we can fix that netting there, as it seems the ball gets stuck there 4 or 5 times a game. We'll find a fan that sits over there. Lucas Roque on the ball. They'll send it to France, who brings it back to Vanzella. Nascimento tries the other side. Nascimento to Roque. Roque with a quick spin to Nascimento. Nascimento with a shot. It's got spin. Tozer has to bicycle kick it out. And Victor France ends up with the ball. So Tozer with a ton of playing time. The new signing coming in to Orlando, and he's playing a lot. Indoor veteran, of course, famous lineage. And he's done well for Orlando here tonight. Nascimento had a good chance there, but he and France not on the same page as he sends it to the other side, and the ball trickles back to Cortez. Blast again with the high pressure. This time Donatelli has a chance to win it, but can't. Instead, Diesel will win it further down, and now Orlando will try the high pressure. The Blast have been done well to beat high pressure this season. Here they do again. Dantas tries to get it through. He finds Nascimento. Great job by Cortez, who couldn't find the ball, to turn around, keep spinning until he saw it, and then jump down on it, as the Blast were that close to tying this game. So Orlando kick in. Not sure, didn't see a hand signal from the official. Don't believe a foul was awarded there, so. And then we'll do it again as the official determined that Juan was too close to a ball that was going backwards. Sunday afternoon MASL soccer here in Baltimore. The Orlando SeaWolves coming 1-11, not playing like it as NDI has some space, finds De Silva. De Silva on the ball, but great job by Cortez to come out and not allow that play to develop. NDI ends up on the ground. Donatelli tries to win it, but he can't. Lopez had a great chance, but couldn't get on the ball. Good job by Adriano. Ball works across to Naka. Naka with a drive, couldn't get there. Mike De Silva bodied off the ball. He ends up on the ground again. Orlando is clearly out physicaling the Blast right now. They're winning every 50-50 ball, and Orlando players are standing tall, and the Blast players are ending up on the ground. We'll see a 3-line pass. It was a little late being called, but it got there. Blast bench was exploding waiting for it, but it was eventually called, and the Blast will get, I would believe, to be their 4th restart on the yellow line. Of course, one of those leading to an Orlando goal, only 25 seconds into the game. Donatelli will find Pereira. Pereira with the shot. Wow, Cortez, I can't believe he was able to stop that with one hand. That had a lot of pace on it. Great job by Cortez to not only get a hand on it, but to hold that hand up strong enough to knock it down. Best restart of the game for the Blast, and there's a scoring opportunity. That's Sandage that's able to get that shot on goal. Doesn't have much behind it, but it's a tough play. Is Juan Pereira. Wow, Juan Pereira not happy, going chest to chest, and he doesn't want the hand. Juan's going to be very careful here. He's going to get a card. It's Juan Pereira. He's calling for the card. There it is. And Juan's going to get a yellow card for slapping at the hand. That's a tough play, as Juan was real unhappy with the call and lost his cool. And then Juan slapped his hands down. And then here's Naranjo just running. Him and Mello cooling things down. So the referees will talk, and now the Blast have just as Michaud's 5-minute misconduct was getting ready to wind down. The Blast get their own yellow card, and now we have a blue card for hands to the face. So Naranjo gets the blue card. So that's the call, and so that was discussed. The third official, hands to the face. Naranjo sarcastically clapping as he goes into the bench, or into the box rather, sarcastically bench. And so after all that, the Blast will get a power play. So the Blast will go on to the power play. It'll be 5-on-4 soccer. Hands to the face is the call for the blue card. And then a yellow card for Juan Pereira, who didn't like the hands to the face and slopped away another player's hands. So looks like at the end of this, it'll be a 5-on-4 advantage for the Blast, with 2 players also in the box on yellow cards, 1 on each team. Right, so now, wow, all right. Here's another blue card. So the yellow is taken away in the blue, so they'll be offsetting blue cards. Wait to see if this is announced here. Okay, so no 5-minute despite the yellow card given earlier. That'll be replaced. It'll be 2 blue cards. So 4-on-4 soccer for the next 2 minutes. We'll be striking on both players, so that's the call. So there was hands in the face was called initially, but taken away. So now striking on both players. That's 23 for the SeaWolves. Naranjo is in the box for 2 minutes, and then Juan Pereira as well. So both of them will serve 2-minute penalties. Michaud stays in the box with the 5-minute game misconduct penalty. But again, that will not affect the 4-on-4 soccer. This came up in the Rochester game. We should talk about the rules as we got confirmation there. That was actually the correct play, the correct call by the officials to not give a 5-on-4 power play after the Blast scored. Even when a power play is awarded and a penalty shot is awarded, a 4v4 doesn't release with a goal, so it stays even strength. So, you know, if either team scores, it doesn't release. You don't get the advantage of a power play after losing that. So a goal will not release the power play here tonight. It will be 4-on-4 soccer for the next 2 minutes, regardless of the scores. Michaud will be able to escape the box at any time after, any stoppage rather, after his penalty expires in the next 10 seconds. The Blast have the ball. Victor France works to break down Cruz, sends a cross shot, and that did not go in. Looked like it hit the bar and went underneath, but not called a goal, did not go in. And Victor France, unlucky break for the Blast. Michaud's penalty has expired, but he cannot come out of the bench until the next stoppage. Ball goes out of bounds. He'll be able to come out. It will not be a 5-on-4 situation. It'll still be 4-on-4 for the next 1 minute. 3:23 left in the half. The Blast looking to capitalize on this situation. Dos Santos, Roque, Jamie Thomas, and Tony Donatelli. The Blast have controlled the ball the entire 1 minute and 20 seconds of this power play so far. No real scoring opportunities so far. Jamie Thomas looks to drive it down. Tobias gets his hands up. That could have easily been called as he put an elbow right into Jamie Thomas's face, but instead it's just called a foul. So Rafa Tobias picks up the foul, and Tony Donatelli will have a chance to restart. There's a ball down in the box, but Roque unable to do anything with it. Donatelli wins, tries to get the space, but he can't. Dos Santos settles it. 25 seconds left on the penalties. 2:45 left in the game, or left in the half. Jamie Thomas works his way down to Roque. Roque has room, pulls it back. He's dancing all over the place, got to pull the trigger. Dos Santos does pull the trigger. Wide and high to the right. 13 seconds on the penalties. The teams will go back to even strength in 13 seconds. Juwan Pereira and Kevin Naranjo, the two players that'll be released here. That stoppage also allowed Mashad to get back on the field. You see him there on the ball. He sends it over to Cortez. He'll be rested as he's been out in the last 7 minutes or so. That's kind of the hidden part of the penalty with a 5-minute misconduct, is he has to also serve until the ball goes out of bounds. So that can take some time. And that's an added penalty time there. It's not just the 5 minutes that you're in there, but you have to wait for the stoppage to get out of the box. Mashad had to serve that here today. Cortez comes on and the penalties have expired. We're back to even strength. And that'll be a mistake, as that will be a top of the arc restart, a defensive clear for Mashad as he tried to get over top of that and make some spin on it. Instead, he drove it way up into the second level of the concourse, and the Blast will have a top of the arc restart. Mello, Donatelli, Roque, and then we saw Victor France take this shot earlier when he had the chance. Wouldn't be surprised if it works across them again from Donatelli. Instead, it goes to Vinny Dantas, who shoots and scores! We're banging the drum in Baltimore. It's 2-2. Vinny Dantas, 24th goal of the season for the striker, and that one was no doubt about it. Mello sends it all the way across. Donatelli looked like he was going to take it. Vinny Dantas did finish it. Let's look from this other angle. You see Donatelli move like he was going to take it, and then right in front of Roque, Dantas just absolutely buries it. You cannot leave Vinny Dantas alone. Well, it is 1 minute and 59 seconds left in the quarter, and the Blast finally get it back to even here, as the early 2-0 lead from Orlando has been erased, and the Blast will look to add on to it as Thomas and Roque start the fast break the other way. Roque with some room. Tozier, good job to step in front. The Blast still 3-on-2 as Jamie Thomas wins the ball back. Roque steps in front. He shoots, he scores! Lucas Roque. Oh, you sense the momentum shift on that restart goal, and then the Blast got the 3-on-2 opportunity, and no one Orlando was looking to move back quickly. They did not come back defensively. You have to move back behind the goal. You saw Rochester do that very, very well last night. Of course, the Blast known for getting 5 men behind the ball. On that play, no one from Orlando came back. Somehow the Blast maintained a 3-on-1 advantage, and Roque was able to win it with some nifty footwork and then finish the goal. We'll see here. There's 3. There's no defenders getting back. Where are all the defenders? They're all sitting up in midfield. You see Cruz hesitating back. There's nobody down there. You see 3 players outside the yellow line for Orlando, and that cost them in that situation. And the Blast have a lead, so after all that, it's a 3-2 halftime lead, and it's the same situation that Orlando found themselves in against San Diego. There was a nice shot, but William Vanzella makes the save. De Silva now working against his former teammates, trying to create a turnover. Mashad breaks the press, and he'll get to midfield. Still in possession, he gets the yellow line. De Silva, dangerous reach in with his foot. Could have given up a restart there. Lopez and Donatelli. 1 minute left in the half. Victor France makes his move. Mashad tries to find Naka, but he can't. Donatelli steps in front. Victor France will get the pass from Donatelli, and the Blast will reset with 40 seconds left in the half. One more scoring opportunity for the Blast. Well, in this arena, it could be 3 or 4, but they'll settle for one more as NDI will get the ball. He's pressured by Mashad, gets it down to the corner. 28 seconds as Cortez lets it come back into his box. Smart play by the goalie to wait for the ball. Sandage now on the ball with Mello pressing. France also tries to press. Ball works around to Mashad and NDI. That's size on size. Great matchup. And here comes Orlando with 10 seconds left. Waiting, pulls the trigger, shots deflected. William Vanzel is able to make the save. 2-1, and that's how the half will end. So Orlando's had close games at the half before. They had a 3-2 game where they were trailing San Diego, and they trailed that same score here in Baltimore. So it was a 2-0 early lead, but the Blast did well to get the lead back, and momentum's on their side. And we'll come back in the second half to see if the Blast can finish or if Orlando can get back in the lead. You're watching MASL Soccer on MASL TV.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because
The end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Our country has changed over the last 80 years. At Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're not just embracing this change, we're driving it. In our own backyard. As a local not-for-profit, we're tackling some of the region's biggest health challenges and making care more accessible for you by providing access to digital tools. Transforming healthcare for over 3 million of your neighbors. Forging new paths to live fearless. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield.
The story is changing. The words ever evolving. Bolder, braver. We are architects of opportunity, and what we're building is more than buildings, it's pride. College is capable of being more, and every day, we're proving it.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Welcome back to CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland, where the Blast have a 3-2 lead over the Orlando SeaWolves. We'll take a look at the first half highlights as you see William Vanzella
Every day, all across Maryland.
down there negotiating with the officials. The scoring started off Rafa Tobias on an assist from Luis Mota. It was a restart 25 seconds into the game, and Orlando had the quick lead. They would build on that lead at the 4-minute, 9-minute mark as Jeff Mashad, you'll see he takes the shot with his left foot, beats William Vanzella to the near post. He can do nothing but fall down. But that's all Orlando would do in the first half, as the Blast would answer with Mike DeSilva getting the pass back from Jonathan Mello. The former SeaWolf gets one back. There you saw Mashad kick the ball back and get a penalty on himself. Then there would be a restart goal. Vinny Dantas on the assist from Mello. Mello sends it all the way across, and Vinny Dantas buries it in the far right side. And then 1 minute and 42 seconds left in the half. Lucas Roque with a nifty move to get it back to his left foot and finish only 17 seconds after Vinny Dantas had equalized the game. So that's your first half highlights. And it's a 3-2 great game here so far in CQ Arena. Let's take a look at some of the stats in the first half. Shots on goal, the Blast lead 15-6. Saves, Orlando has 7, the Blast have 3. The Blast have only recorded 1 block, uncharacteristic for this Blast team. Orlando has 5, and the fouls 7-4 in favor of the SeaWolves. There were 3 penalties in the first half. Jeff Mashad picked up that delay of game I mentioned. A yellow card for kicking the ball off, and it hit the official as it carried through. Kind of an unlucky bounce for Mashad, and a call I'll admit I've never seen before in the league. And then Naranjo and Pereira both got striking penalties offsetting. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle and discussion between the officials as to what would happen initially. Pereira was shown a yellow card, but that was rescinded, so both players received blue cards. Neither team was able to capitalize on the restart, or on the power play rather. So as we restart the second half, it is a 3-2 lead for Baltimore. You see Tom Traxler talking to his team. His team has to be fired up the position they're in. 3-2 here in CQ Arena, following a surprisingly close game last night that the Blast didn't blow over until the fourth quarter. They're stuck in another tough one here as Cortez heads back to his goal. We haven't had a chance to talk about the goalkeeper matchup coming into this, but Fernando Cortez, 1-6 on the season. He's faced 115 shots and only made 55 saves for .478 saves percentage. He's given up 9.1 goals a game. That's against William Vanzella, 4.4 goals against on 220 shots. He has a 9-6 or 9-5 record on the season, and he's made 159 saves. So that's the goalkeeper matchup we'll keep an eye on in the second half, and we're underway as Tobias sends it back. You're watching MASL Soccer on MASL TV. Dantas wins possession early. Doesn't force the matter though, sends it back to Adriano Dos Santos, the big defender. Works with Dantas. Dantas shoots and scores! Vinny Dantas, second goal of the night. 4th goal of the weekend. Vinny Dantas, no doubt about that one. He's found that corner twice now, both 2 different nets. We hear the drums behind us as this place gets loud and the Blast are on a roll, 4-2. We'll see the score here from Vinny Dantas. Just a quick move, rolls it out, beats Cortez to the far side. And when the ball has that much pace and is that well struck, there's not much you can do about it. You cannot give Vinny Dantas the space to spin into that, and he did there, and it cost the SeaWolves. So quick goal. I think we'll say it's 23 seconds into the, yes, 23 seconds confirmed into the second quarter, so the Blast have done well to score quickly in the starts of quarters here. Cruz will try and send it back, and just like that, Orlando almost scored as Naka just missed the post. Mashad fighting Pereira. Pereira does well to win it, momentarily at least. Loses it. Cruz tries to dribble it down. Here come the Blast, fighting back and forth on the other side. Bad kick away. Diesel has the ball. Diesel tries to find Pereira. He can't. Nice job by Cortez to send it down to himself and settle it. The Blast will control. So that was Lopez down in the corner, not Cortez. Lopez did a good job to settle it down. Nascimento to Melo. Melo's got space on Naka. Can he get around him? Chooses not to. Instead works it back to Dos Santos. Dos Santos will go in the same place with Cruz. Dos Santos beats Cruz, takes the shot. Cortez pops it up to himself. Adriano Dos Santos pointing to the bench as he got a great shot on goal. Cortez just able to get enough of it to pop it up in the air and then have the rebound fall down to himself gently. Here comes Orlando switching the field. Spirited effort by the SeaWolves team, looking for their second win of the season. Of course, they've also beaten the Blast with their only win of the season. Blast avenged that loss with a 7-0 shutout last week in Lakeview. This game will not be a shutout, obviously, as it's 4-2. Adriano Dos Santos down to the yellow line, double teamed, able to win through the double team, and he'll go off for a well-earned break. Tony Donatelli steps on with Mo NDI on the back line. Donatelli playing on the back line a little today, trying to stabilize with the injuries. NDI and Donatelli back there. De Silva really fighting through that double team. Great job by the former SeaWolf to earn it against his old teammates. Of course, he, Schmermond, Mike De Silva, Schmermond coming over from the SeaWolves. Victor France, an off-season signing, but coming off that same SeaWolves team. NDI thought about it, thought better of it. I think that was the voice of Danny Kelly in his head. Don't take a shot like that, maintain possession. Dantas loses it, but wins it back. Nascimento comes off the bench. He's got space, takes a shot, finds Donatelli on the far post. Donatelli will wiggle it in. Not sure who they're gonna give it to, whether they say Nascimento put it in, or if Donatelli will see on the replay. I think they're gonna give it to Tony Donatelli on that far post. We're screened by the goalie here, as Nascimento did well to get it across the face of the goal. Donatelli was there. We'll see on the replay. Nascimento, space, good pass across, and yes, indeed, that was Tony Donatelli scoring that goal. So great job by Tony Donatelli to be in the right place at the right time. But Nascimento, I think that would have gone in if Tony hadn't touched it. Can't see it there from that angle, but I think, yes, Tony officially credited with it, and I think he might have sniped one there from Nascimento as it looked like that was going in. Either way, Marco picks up an assist. He had 2 assists last night to go along with a goal. So the Blast pouring it on now. Second goal here in the first 4 minutes. Maybe not pouring, starting to pour. A slight trickle as Melo and Cruz match up. The Blast have found success with this high pressure and created all kinds of turmoil for Orlando on the back line. Cortez has really done a good job with his feet today. He's been challenged and has done well. Cruz will now try and back down Melo. He gets space, can't pull the trigger. Melo stays on his feet. They're close. Melo closes the gap and he wins the ball. Melo's got a breakaway. Tozer with a slide tackle. Tozer not called. Dos Santos with the chip back to Vinny Dantas. Vinny Dantas unable to find Dos Santos. Melo is just absolutely livid at that slide tackle by Tozer. From my viewpoint, it looked like Tozer got all ball. Looked like it was a great tackle. It was a risky play from Tozer, but it looked like he got all ball and took down Melo on a breakaway. Either way, didn't happen. Now Roque will try and break down Cruz. He can't, sends it over. The Blast playing possession soccer. Roque back to Donatelli. Donatelli can't get it on his left foot. NDI will win it back before it crosses the yellow line. He'll settle it. Pereira now looks around. Dos Santos to Roque. He's got a runner. Dos Santos, one touch, sends it in the box. Donatelli shoots and scores! Adriano Dos Santos to Tony Donatelli. Tony picks up his second goal in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the Blast are up 6-2. Well, the dam is officially broken, and the Blast have gotten through in a big way. There you see the baby in there. He sees his fiance up there sitting next to Ed Hale. He's trying to find her, sends the shirt up that direction. Tony Donatelli, the Blast captain. And here you see Lucas Roque makes a nice job, nice pass with Dos Santos on the run, and then the half volley goal from Tony Donatelli. So Tony picks up 2 quick goals, and the Blast have opened this one up to a 4-goal lead, 6-2 for the Baltimore Blast. 9:50 left in the third quarter. Well, we'll see what Orlando's made of here from a pride standpoint. Obviously, talent-wise, they are not in the same level as Baltimore, but they've played very, very well here tonight. They've shown that they have some skill on this team. Can they maintain their composure? Can they keep their cool and continue to press? They have done well here tonight, acquitted themselves well, and it's kind of eerily reminiscent of the game that they played against San Diego, and it was close at halftime. It was blown open somewhat by San Diego in the third quarter, and then Orlando was able to close it down in the late in the game with a couple of shorthanded or sixth attacker goals and kind of keep it respectable at 8-5. We'll see if they can do the same thing here and keep this game close enough to strike in the fourth quarter. Machad sends it over. Cortez once again comes up near midfield, but he can't find anybody to pass it to. This time Machad comes open at the yellow line, but nothing doing for this Orlando attack as they can't get possession inside the yellow line. Blast doing really well with this man pressure defense. Lucas Roque starting in midfield with his press. He and Mello with a high pressure. With the Blast having the lead and getting such offensive success, it's enabled them to lay into this trapping, high trap defense. And it's given Orlando a lot of trouble. Mike Diesel down in the corner. Now playing our second consecutive team that doesn't believe in numbers on shorts. So if we don't see their back of their jerseys, we have no idea who they are. So we'll work on that. Lopez and Cortez back and forth. Machad try and break the press. He sends a deep pass down to Rubio. Ribeiro works it back out to Machad. Machad and Roque have gone head to head. Six to 2, the Blast lead the SeaWolves. With just under 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter. It was a 3-2 game at halftime. As here's a turnover. Mello's got room. He's got Roque. He can't find him. He'll try and spin it back as Machad will drag down Mello. The two of them will grab hands and help each other up. A little hug there. Respect between the two as Machad was kind of stuck in no man's land. Mello's, nobody addressed the ball. Instead, the Blast will look to make a switch and change out possession. They'll run this back and forth on the back line a couple times until they can get a 5 out. Send it down to De Silva, who picked up the first goal of the game for the Blast. Of course, a mid-season acquisition. Came over from Orlando. He's done well in the opportunities that he's been given. Scored a couple goals on the road trip for the Blast. Did not play last night as Andrew Hoxie got the start against his former team. The big forward is there's a clear elbow to the head, and that'll be a blue card as Machad came in with the elbow and absolutely took out Jamie Thomas in the head. And so we'll see whether this is called a shootout, whether he was going directly to the goal or if they were going to rule last player. Might just be a restart. On the top, we'll see it. We see Machad come in, that arm comes up, and I mean, he hit Jamie Thomas hard on the side of the face. Referee, to his credit, did a great job of going in. They'll say, no, he was not going towards goal. And we see a timeout now. Not sure who called the timeout here, but we're inside the 7-minute window here, so we'll take that as the official timeout. Blast leading 6-2. We'll be back with MASL Soccer.
While science has become better at treating people, we can't ever forget the importance of how we simply treat people. At MedStar Health, we get that when you need to see a doctor, you might need to see one today. Or if you need help on the weekend, you'll need an urgent care that's, open weekends. And if you need to stay home, then a video visit might be just what you need. The best of our minds, the best of our hearts. MedStar Health. It's how we treat people.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep their workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our passion and our specialty for more than 100 years. We help protect Maryland workers because
The end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
connect with your local agent or visit us online.
And we're back at CQ Arena where the Blast will be on the power play as we come back in. Michaud picks up the blow to the head penalty. Elbow came up, striking penalty, and the Blast will be on the power play. And it'll be strength on strength matchup as Orlando surprisingly well in the penalty kill area. 62% of their penalties they've killed coming into this game. That's one of the top 10 in the league, and they're going against the Blast power play, which is 63%. They've scored on 63% of their power plays. Another top 10 special team. So interesting matchup between here, and the Blast will get the first power play of the game. Of course, 2 penalties previous, but it was a 4-on-4 situation. Mello, Donatelli, Mello, Donatelli, Dantas, France, and Roquet. The 5-on for the Blast, and the Blast quickly lose possession. Orlando will try and get as much time out of this steal as possible. They kill about 20 seconds there, but the Blast maintain possession. Roquet and Mello with a give and go. Donatelli lurking on the back of that. He wants a ball crossed. He scored twice on balls crossing. He's going to try and do it a third time. Victor France tried to get it to him, but he couldn't. Here comes Mello looking to switch. Finds Dantas. Dantas makes the pass. He was going for Donatelli, but couldn't get it to him. Clear what the Blast are looking for on the power play. Dantas gets it across. Here's another volley from Donatelli. Donatelli can't get it in the net. Victor France had a chance as well, but couldn't finish. So the Blast setting that up the entire first minute of the power play. Get the scoring opportunity, but can't finish. Here's Donatelli on the ball. Roquet in that far position. Here's the pass from Donatelli trying to get there. And wow, look at that takedown as Victor France goes for the bicycle kick, and Cortez just shoved him down to the ground. So Cortez just went and took him down, absolute two-handed shove. I guess he thought he was in this box and had possession to be able to go get it, or position rather to go get it. We'll see on the replay. Nope, maybe not, but yeah, the foul called on France. I guess a dangerous kick before that, and we'll see Mello win possession and draw the foul on Tobias. So Tobias kind of hit the corner of the boards there as he went in, and unhappy with his teammates not having that ball, that board locked in. He looks to be okay. Roquet shoots just wide. Vinny Dantas tried to take one extra touch instead of shooting it there, but he'll win it back. 25 seconds on the power play. Blast with a man advantage. Dantas tried to work it into Victor France. He can't. Mello heads it down to Donatelli. 15 seconds on the power play. The Blast will have one more scoring opportunity on this power play. 63% of their power plays they've scored on, and they do it again with 9 seconds left. Victor France with the goal, and the Blast leads 7-2. Well, they took all of that power play to make it happen, and it took a deflection in the middle. As we see here, the ball works around. Lucas Roquet bounces it across the middle. Ball sits there for a second, deflected, and Victor France able to bury it. So they kept trying to find that pass across. Dantas was down low on the post. They couldn't get it to him, but when they tried to knock it down, Orlando sent it right to Victor France, who capitalized, and the Blast capitalized on the power play. So Orlando's 62% will go down slightly, and the Blast 63% will go up. Lucas Roquet picks up the assist on that goal, and Victor France gets a goal against his old teammate. So Mike De Silva and Victor France, the two former SeaWolves, both on the scoring sheet tonight for the Blast. Sure, not easy to see for the SeaWolf fans. Of course, Richard Schmerman, the other former SeaWolf, not playing tonight after playing a ton of minutes last night against Rochester. Here's Donatelli with space, left-footed shot. NDI just inches away from being able to bury that. Mike Diesel does well to get the rebound, and the Blast will control. So Donatelli looking for his third goal or a pass to Mo NDI, who was making the run down there. Neither of them connected. And it is coming in waves now for the Blast as possession time is switched exclusively to the red and black. Dantas bangs it hard off the boards looking for NDI, and he can't. NDI, and see, that's just a tough play for Mo NDI. He reaches his leg in there, but he clicked the ball. And the problem is he's so big and he's so strong when he gets that play in there. Tobias is no small man, but he's going to knock anybody down to the ground, and he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt as a guy that big. He's going to have to grow into that. He's got a reputation right now. And so to me, that wasn't a foul, but he's going to get that call every time when he reaches that leg through, as big as he is and as strong as he is. So will he learn how to do that? Will he learn how to harness that? That's the million-dollar question. And frankly, he could be one of the best players in this league, as now Vinny Dantas gets struck in the face by Michaud. And not going to be called a foul as they collided together. And Vinny Dantas, or it will be called a foul rather, not going to be called a card, as Vinny Dantas was struck in the face. Michaud has earned a couple of these plays. Michaud disagrees with it, but I mean, Vinny Dantas clearly took the brunt of that blow, and the contact was to the head. Long pass all the way to the yellow line on the ground from William Vanzella. Roque draws the foul. NDI tries for the quick restart, but referee Robert Faraday moves the ball back about 5 feet, delays the restart. Lucas Roque was kind of left alone in the box there. I think that's what Mo was looking for, but unable to do it. Nascimento comes back on, and now Naka will try the high pressure for Orlando. William Vanzella does real well to beat it, gets Jamie Thomas. And then smart play by William Vanzella to step in front. The Blast have a 3-on-3 as they hurry. Instead, they'll settle it back down. Jamie Thomas, and again, the Blast content to play the possession game. It's what they're good at, making these runs. Dos Santos gets a step, tries to pass to Roque, and it's deflected. Michaud packed in the box. Now can Orlando beat the press? They cannot. Turnover. Adriano on the ball. This high pressure from the Blast has been extremely effective. The Blast moved into it midway through the second quarter, and it is just shut down this Orlando team. And resulted in a run of 7-0 for the Blast after Orlando scored 2 quick goals to get to a 2-0 lead. Mello finds Roque, who gets across, sends a pass back to himself, shoots and scores! Look at that nifty move. He gets an assist and a goal. Lucas Roque off the boards into the back of the net, and he gets a shoe shine on the celebration there. NDI says, we're not worthy, as Lucas Roque, watch this move. Mello gets down low, pulls it back, beats the defender off the boards to himself, and then finishes in the back of the net. It looks like it was deflected, but either way, Mello will pick up the real assist, but Lucas Roque, what a great individual effort on that. That's 2 goals for Lucas Roque here in the Blast, up 8-2 on the SeaWolves. So Mello does pick up the official assist. And we see Tozer pretend to send it long, but instead works it back to Cruz. De Silva now in. Cruz and De Silva. I think Cortez is going to be very happy in this fourth quarter because he's not going to be trapped behind that yellow line, or behind that midfield stripe, as he's looked to want to push forward. He's already taken 1 shot, and I think he's had several opportunities where he's frustrated with his angles for distribution. So we'll see in the fourth quarter if he tries to come forward, especially in a game that they're trailing 8-2. kind of becomes that de facto sixth attacker. As a nifty move by Tozier, works it across, and no foul called, as that was Kaufman there, the defender in the middle. And there's Cortez coming all the way out of the box. He does well to work it across. Sandage gets spilled, no call. I hesitated there with Kaufman in the middle because I thought maybe a call was going to be made, but it was not. And we have an injured, looks like Tozier is down in the corner next to the official. So we have an injured SeaWolf. This is the second time Tozier's been down, and he's holding his head. Not sure if his eye or what happened there. And Victor France goes over and shakes his hand. And so not sure what happened. Tozier doesn't look upset. In fact, they're both players smiling, but holding his eye as he steps off the field. So Dustin Killick walked over there, stopped play. I don't know what the, I guess they're gonna rule that Orlando had possession of the ball, or they're gonna do a drop kick, I'm not sure. Either way, Tozier walks into the bench. The Blast are short a player, they only have 4 on the field right now. Here comes De Silva stepping on late. So Cruz will take the free kick. And Orlando, one of the rare times in this third quarter that they've had sustained possession. They'll try and work it down, and just like that, they lose it. Juan Pereira has De Silva just a little too far, and Cortez is able to get it. Pereira holds his hand up, knowing that if it was a little shorter, De Silva would have had a good chance at a run. 15 seconds left. Pereira's got a steal. He's going to go in on goal. Beats Cortez, shoots and scores! Juan Pereira! Man, whoever's banging a gong is going to get tired in this one here. As this third quarter, the Blast have blown it open. 6 goals in the third quarter, and you see it was just a bad touch back, and Juan Pereira right on it, and nifty little footwork to get Cortez going to his right, and then brings it back to the left. Because it looks like Michaud thought he was going to get a little more pace back to Cortez on the pass, and he doesn't. Juan Pereira able to capitalize, and the Blast have turned it on in the third quarter. It was 3-2, and now it is 9-2. 13.9 seconds left, and the Blast comfortably ahead in this one. As Vinny Dantas keeps the high pressure going, under 10 seconds left. Mo NDI all the way up on Naranjo. And as the clock winds down, I don't think Cortez will be able to do anything with it. And the Blast will take a 9-2 lead into the fourth quarter. You're watching Baltimore Blast Soccer on MASL TV. As we see the cheerleaders run off to start the fourth quarter. The Blast cheerleaders, of course, the best in the league, in a biased opinion. And the Blast will take a 9-2 lead into the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at the stats from the third quarter. Orlando got one shot off in that entire quarter, had one block and 4 fouls. Cortez picked up 3 saves. For the Blast, 10 shots on goal, 1 block and 2 fouls. So now the shots advantage for the Blast going into the fourth quarter, 25-7 the advantage. So 9-2 on the scoreboard, 25-7 in shots, the advantage for the Blast. So clearly a much better third quarter than the first 2 for the Blast. And for Orlando, what will they do here? Will they fold in the fourth quarter, or will they look to continue fighting? Cortez wins the ball, but does not do anything with it as the Blast get possession back quickly. William Vanzella on the foot. Mike Diesel with a long pass. How does that find Vinny Dantas? That ball the length of the field. Vinny Bontas, though, an uncharacteristic, unforced error as he sends it out over top the SeaWolves bench. And Orlando will get the restart. The Blast do get the opportunity to restart the press as Jamie Thomas and Vinny Dantas high for the Blast. Cortez finds Tozer, who looks none the worse for his eye injury earlier. He's out there. Cortez now will press, being released in the fourth quarter. There's a shot. Vanzella steps in front. That was Cruz who drove it in off the boards. Well, the Blast beat Orlando on December 7th, 14-5. Then Orlando returned the favor with a 5-4 win on December the 22nd. And then last weekend, the Blast went down to Lakeview and won 7-0. Right now, they also have a 7-goal lead, 9-2. And Adriano Santo will just stand over top of the ball, waiting for his teammates to cycle on. Victor France, Jonathan Mello. Join Lucas Roque and Mo Ndiaye. Mello with a little bit of a nifty foot move. Gets to the corner. Doesn't earn anything except for space. Dos Santos tries to work it over to Ndiaye. Ndiaye one touch, gets to the middle. And his big feet got in the way as he went to pull the trigger with his right foot. His left foot knocked it away from him. And then Ndiaye just skies it up into the upper deck. Great catch by the official back there, the stadium employee. Gary St. Hours, the in-house PA announcer, echoing the great Baltimore PA announcer, asking for a contract for that fan. Well done by Gary. There's a nifty move and a drive. Just high, hits the crossbar. Vanzella was beat, but just missed a goal. That would have been a beautiful shot. Was a beautiful shot, would have been a beautiful goal. There's another long drive, this one higher than the last. Karam's all the way out to midfield where Tozer gets it. Tozer and Roque going back and forth as they have most of this game on that high press. De Silva sitting back a little bit. He's waiting and watching Tozer, giving him space. Tozer sends it down to Tobias, who wins the ball. Diesel's matched up on him. Of course, Mike Diesel picked up a goal and a penalty last night. Mike's done well to stay out of the box this year. Only a couple trips in to visit me so far this season for Mike, but he earned his penalty last night. He had a great one earlier today where he went down like a freight train, and there's a shot down low. Vanzella with a save. Ball creams up, and there's a shot that goes high and to the right. Vanzella unhappy with the amount of shots he's faced here early in the fourth quarter as we're 3 minutes in. Diesel had that run going right to left on the screen at full speed, crashed into the boards hard, broke the boards. That's how hard he went into it. The Blast unable to score on it, but a great run as he took the length of the field at full speed. Dos Santos now will find William Vanzella, who's got a lot of space. Dos Santos fills that space running cross field. He beats Tobias. Dos Santos, great effort play by Adriano. He saw that opening. He knew Vanzella couldn't push up too far, wouldn't push up too far with that big of a lead. So Dos Santos did the unexpected and ran across the entire field to create that opportunity. And now he's got another run as he beats Tobias again. He's in the corner alone. settles the ball, but he'll bring it back out. A lot of hustle from Adriano Dos Santos. It's a guy that's a veteran player, been in the league for a long time, been playing the back end of a second game in 2 nights against teams that are at the bottom of the standings table. He's got a 7-goal lead, and he's making runs like that. That's why the Blast will always be in the playoff picture as long as these players are here. Donatelli then tries to win it. And again, Donatelli with the effort and the pressure creates the turnover. Can't do anything with it, as Machad and Cortez not on the same page with each other. So let's talk about that playoff picture. With the Harrisburg losses in Kansas City and St. Louis, the Blast have now gone into a tie with Harrisburg for that 4th playoff spot. The playoffs changed this year. The teams going into 2 divisions instead of conferences. The top 4 teams in each conference will move to the playoffs. Right now it is Florida, Milwaukee, Utica, and then Baltimore and Harrisburg tied for that 4th spot. Then you have St. Louis and Kansas City lurking right behind. For the Blast, plenty of opportunities to match up against Harrisburg in the remainder of the season, home and away. Of course, Harrisburg becoming a great place, great home field advantage for that Harrisburg team. And they've already gotten one over the Blast there at the Farm Show Arena. Blast will look to return that next Saturday as Vanzella drives one up and over from Naranjo. Naranjo will earn a corner here. So for the Blast, after tonight, schedule gets a little bit tougher. They had 2 relatively easy games against Orlando and Rochester, but that changes real quick as they have to travel next week to San Diego. A game on the 12th. It will be out in San Diego. Actually, I don't think is that right? This is the 12th they play out in San Diego? Yes, that's right. Okay, out on the 12th in San Diego. They're going to play out there for that game, Tuesday night game. And then they'll be back in as the Blast get a turnover. Jamie Thomas shoots from midfield, and he scores. Well, Cortez, we thought he was going to start trying to cheat up, and he does there on the restart.
While science has become better at
Orlando, and he got beat as Jamie Thomas recognized it. Jamie Thomas with a quick little strike, and it just snuck inside the board. I paused there as Juan Pereira celebrating that goal. Jamie Thomas will go off. So you see here, Jamie Thomas just one touch and did good as Cortez was on a full speed sprint back to try and get back in goal. But Jamie Thomas scores the 10th goal of the night as Mello had the pressure. Oren Cortez forces the turnover. Jamie Thomas one touch, and it's an unassisted 10th goal for the Blast. It's now an 8-goal lead. NDI beaten slightly. He's got to step out on that press. This is a scoring opportunity created by NDI's inexperience there. He'll learn on that switch to get his body out further. Donatelli tries to work it to Roque. He can't. The ball will bounce out into the bench. Not a clearance because it hit the ground. But as I was starting to say, the trip to San Diego, 10:35 p.m. Eastern time. Game at San Diego. Of course, the Blast beat San Diego here. That'll be much different traveling into San Diego as Roque's down on the boards. Can't do anything with it. And Victor France will win the ball. Send it all the way back to William Van Zelen. The Blast will restart. NDI to Victor France. So much tougher task to go into San Diego. Look to hold serve and hold their place in the playoffs. Possibly get a win against San Diego. And then they have to come back home next Saturday. 6:05 start against the Harrisburg Heat. That'll be the big game. That's the matchup. The Blast currently trailing the head-to-head matchup as Harrisburg won up in Harrisburg. So the Blast are going to have to try and get that advantage back. As we see the Blast kind of bang the boards back and forth, and Tony Donatelli will make a run. It's 3-on-3 soccer. Nascimento, Donatelli, and Roque. Roque will get down in the corner. He's able to turn. And he loses the ball, though. Nascimento then will come crash down on Cortez, who for some reason didn't play it right away. And then Dos Santos will be whistled for the foul on Tobias. Tobias spilled and bailed out there as Tobias was gone. Tobias and Dos Santos not agreeing with whether or not that's a foul. I don't know that Adriano's ever agreed on a foul that's been called against him, as he should. And that'll be a 3-line pass. So Three-line violation. That's tough in this arena. That's a tough thing to see, and players aren't used to it. And, you know, if you only play a couple games here at this arena, it's something that teams struggle with. Dos Santos finds Roque. Roque will have time. Bails out of it and sends it back to Mello to reset. The blast will shift. Will change shifts, rather. Dos Santos and Tozer. Tozer is big as Dos Santos. Dos Santos seems to be a little quicker. Dos Santos will go to the bench, and the blast will make a shift. And now we see Swift step onto the field. Quentin Swift getting his first action for the blast. We saw him in uniform today. He's in today, but we weren't sure if we were going to see him. Now in an 8-goal game, he gets to come in. And so we'll see Quentin Swift make his debut for the blast. A defender by trade. He was from the Newtown Pride FC coming in. Shares a September 27th birthday with a great broadcaster in Baltimore. We'll see him get his first action. His Mello will look to find him in the corner. Instead, De Silva switches off. I think Swift would have been better to run onto that ball. But wearing the orange kicks has to be excited to get on the field. And that'll be a quick shift for him. He touched the ball twice, but good opportunity to get his feet wet and learn a little bit about what indoor soccer is. Vinny Dantas down in the corner. We saw that last year with Kalu and Mo Ndiaye, guys that were young to the game and just working in. And they got shifts in moments like this, and then now they're starters as Juan Pereira has a chance, can't finish it. Vinny Dantas hit the goalie and hit the post and then goes into the goal, doesn't get a goal. And somehow Orlando comes out of that with possession. But now the Blast have a trap. Cortez does great job heading that out as Pereira was coming in hard, and we'll see Mo Ndiaye spill into the boards. Ribeiro, there'll be a foul called, and that'll be the officials' timeout. So a quick fourth quarter. We're already at the officials' timeout. The Blast lead 10-2. We'll be back with the remainder of this game.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for?
No one comes into our house and pushes us around.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Campbell. Uh-huh. What kind of power you got?
Oh, man, you know I got some soul power.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
This could be the greatest night of our lives.
We shut them down because we can.
They don't know your heart.
On this team, we fight for that inch.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's go.
Well, there we see the cheerleaders in the stands as this crowd is up on their feet and getting rocking as the fourth quarter hype up video plays, and this fan on their feet seen a good game, a good 2 quarters from the Blast, 2.5 quarters from the Blast. Not a great first quarter from the Blast, even though they eventually came back to get a 3-2 lead. They were trailing 2-0 early, but certainly have turned it on since. An 10-0 run from the Blast, and Orlando no answer. Cortez will now push past midfield. He's gotten beat once doing that. Hasn't gotten gun shy. It's Roque now steals it from him. He tries to poke it in. Jamie Thomas, will he get a second? No, he sends it back to Roque, who finishes it. Jamie Thomas with the unselfish play. Instead of taking the shot himself, he works it back to Lucas Roque, and Lucas Roque picks up the hat trick. Well, I was talking about it. Cortez is living dangerously, trying to push that midfield, and he got the ball stolen away from him. And Jamie Thomas, man, he's a back heel, no-look pass all the way across. He probably could have pulled the trigger right there. Instead, he sends it back. Cortez thought he was going to take a shot. And look at this nifty pass. I mean, that's about as beautiful an assist as you're going to see. And Lucas Roque points back to Jamie Thomas, knowing what an unselfish and beautiful feed that was from his teammate. And Lucas Roque, that's his first hat trick since he returned. And the Blast lead 11-2 with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We'll see if Cortez continues to live dangerously and push. I mean, I guess if you're Orlando, you got nothing to lose, as there's a shot and a goal. So I guess that's the answer, as Lopez comes in and answers for the SeaWolves. Cortez pushed the ball up forward, and Lopez 2 dribbles and takes a hard shot and beats Vanzella to the far side. So after holding Orlando scoreless for the second and third quarters and half of the fourth quarter, there you see as he's matched up one-on-one on Victor France. Nice over top and just a drive from Lopez. Cortez picks up the assist on that goal, so Cortez gets the assist, and now here's another opportunity as William Vanzella gets caught out in no man's land. Mello there to save it, but can't clear it. Victor France flicks it on to Quentin Swift, who gets another shift here. Vinny Dantas, Mike Diesel, Victor France, Jonathan Mello on the field for the Blast. 5.5 minutes left. So the Blast look to complete the home weekend sweep. 4 games in 2 weeks, all against the same 2 teams. Looking like it's going to be 4 wins, and the Blast's up to a 10-6 record. So coming into last week, 6-6. They take care of business, beat the teams they should, and will walk out of this weekend 10-6 as Tozier gets a shot on goal. Cruz sends it across, Bicycle kicks it, Vanzella equal to the task. Now Dantas goes the other way, and there's Vanzella pushing across, Dantas on the far end. Man, it's end-to-end soccer here. And then Swift wins the ball for Dantas. Dantas down in low, and he beats Cortez 5-hole, Vinny Dantas. Well, it went from one scoring opportunity on the Orlando side to Quentin Swift winning the ball back on the defensive end, driving it down, and then wins the ball for Dantas. Dantas one-on-one with the goalie and just goes 5-hole on Cortez. You see Swift right before that in one possession. Vinny Dantas with a couple dribbles, extends Cortez, and then is able to bury it in the back of the net. So all Blast here in the third and fourth quarter. 12-3 is the score, and now Vinny Dantas picks up the hat trick. We thought he might have had one last night. We got the stats wrong on our end, and so we awarded him one preemptively. Shouldn't have, but now he has one. Can't take that away from him. As Cortez gets the yellow line, he takes a shot, trickles all the way through. So Cortez not dissuaded by the fact that 2 goals have been scored by him pressing up. He'll continue as he's taking 2 shots now. There's Michaud with a drive. Takes away Dos Santos' breath, but he's equal to it. Lopez will try and move in. He's got a goal. They'll look for a handball call on Roque. They won't get it. Instead, Roque comes the other way. He's got space. Tries to work the ball across to Juan Pereira. Juan Pereira on the ball. Cortez dives in and saves it. I'm not sure if it was a handball on Roque. Couldn't see it, but the Orlando bench certainly thought so. There we'll see Naka try and work the ball into the middle of the box, and Juan Pereira's coming the other direction now. That's a dangerous slide tackle. Michaud, that's a blue card for Michaud. That's his second blue card of the game, as he's gotten the blow to the head and the slide tackle there. It won't look like he's going to get the, well, I don't know where he's going. No, then that'll be the red. He gets shown the red there, the second blue. So Michaud off as he walks straight off, and he's gone from the game. So he had the yellow card, he had the blue card, 3-card accumulation. And it'll be another power play for the Blast. The Blast 1-0 on the power play so far. They've also did not score in a 4v4 situation. So now somebody from the bench has to go into the penalty box for Orlando. They're having a discussion as to who that will be. It looks like Bell goes in there. So Darren Bell steps in. And there's the confirmation that Mashad gets ejected for the third card accumulation. So the yellow from before, the blue card for the striking in the head, and then that slide tackle there. So 3 cards in the ejection in the MASL. And the Blast will have their second power play. It'll be served by Bell, Darren Bell in the box, and the Blast are on the power play. Donatelli, Mello, Roque, Victor France, and Vinny Dantas. As dangerous an offensive 5 as you'll see in this league. Roque had some space, but couldn't work it down. He holds his head as he realizes the room that he had. Donatelli's gonna get it across to Victor France. Victor France all alone. Roque, France, across, and that'll be an own goal by Tozier. Victor France will get credit for it. He was trying to work it across to Dantas, and instead Tozier just slid right into the goal, carrying it in with his right foot. So the Blast score quickly on the power play, 33 seconds in. I believe it'll be credited to Victor France on the goal, as he clearly on the give and go was driving it down into Dantas. And then the own goal by Tozier, who's played a great game tonight, but not much you can do in that situation. If he doesn't make that slide, Dantas is going to bury it home for his 4th goal. So kind of pick your poison movement there for Tozier. Victor France gets his 2nd goal of the game against his former teammates. Well, some of his former teammates, not many left after the transition period. And of course, he left in the offseason before the issues began in Orlando. But either way, happy to be in Baltimore and happy to be on the positive side of a 13-3 lead. As the Blast look to close out the last 2 minutes and 50 seconds, Naranjo and Mello matched up. Jamie Thomas is going to go at Cortez again. And Jamie Thomas almost wins the ball, gets a foot on it, but can't get possession. Naka on Nascimento. That's Naranjo down low. He'll send it all the way across. Instead, it comes out to Nascimento. De Silva with the breakaway. Is he going to get his 2nd goal? Yes, he is. 5-hole. Mike De Silva with the 2nd goal of the night. And the Blast lead 14-3. Well, the high pressure again. Nascimento, good job screening off. And Mike De Silva, patience as Nascimento wins the ball, screens off the defenders, and then Mike De Silva goes 5-hole. 2nd goal the Blast have had 5-hole against Cortez. And it is all Blast in the 4th quarter. 14-3. 2 minutes and 23 seconds left. And De Silva and Victor France now each have 2 goals to match the hat tricks from Vinny Dantas and Lucas Roque. So usually the Blast spread it out tonight. Some of the same goal scorers, uncharacteristically for the Blast maybe a little bit. Also 14 goals. As that's a drive well far from Cruz. And the Blast will have a distribution with 2 minutes left. Orlando not giving up, staying in the high press. The Blast beat it with Dos Santos. Dantas back to Dos Santos. Dos Santos shoots. It looks like it was actually a pass to Juan Pereira, was maybe a step away from it. Dantas goes down into the boards. Foul is called, and the Blast will get a restart. The Orlando player looked unhappy with the call, but Donatelli will restart it. The Blast now under 2 minutes, 11-goal lead. They will move to 10-6 for Orlando, 1-12. Orlando has a tough go of it in their remaining schedule. A lot of games against Baltimore, against Florida, Milwaukee. Of course, they close out the season with Rochester. That'll be an interesting battle as 2 young teams looking to maintain looking to get wins. Rochester, of course, not having a win. Orlando with a 1 win. Dantas wins the ball. Donatelli to Pereira. Pereira one-on-one with Tozier. Tozier steps in front, can't win it. Pereira's got lots of space. Quentin Swift, I don't know if it looked like he was trying to get a little cute with it, as Quentin Swift was alone in the box and could have buried that. I'm not sure if he just got tripped up on it or if he was trying to backheel that. But either way, doesn't capitalize on his first scoring opportunity. Here comes Mo Ndiaye with 1 minute left. He works it down along the boards, and it's into Cortez's hand. Orlando will not go sixth attacker with an 11-goal lead, or with 11-goal deficit. And now Mo Ndiaye is going to pick up, well, he's not going to get a card. He probably should have, as he ran into Tobias. And it was just one of those ones where in this situation, it wasn't that bad, but in that situation, you shouldn't do that. And that's the maturity and experience that he's going to have to earn. And in a close game, that probably would have been called a card. Just because you can't do things like that. You can't spill people off the ball that hard when you're that big. As Juan Pereira gets a little nifty, tries to send it up. Tobias juggling it. Roque can't win it. Tobias will settle and send it down to Tozier. 20 seconds left. Can Orlando get one more goal here? They're trying their best. 15 seconds left. Naranjo works it around. One more chance for Orlando. Can they get it to 4 goals? Works across. Nifty little footwork. Sends it in. Tobias unable to capitalize. 3, 2, and that'll do it. The Blast will win 14-3. So 4 games against Orlando and Rochester, and the Blast win all 4 of them. They go from 6-6 to 10-6. They are now solidly in 4th place, pending the results of the Harrisburg game. Harrisburg playing today in Milwaukee rather. So we'll wait to see that result. And that will, of course, inform as the Blast travel to San Diego, whether they'll do so in sole possession of 4th place or tied. We take a look at the scoreboard online and see it looks like the Lancers, Rochester, had to travel up to Utica. Utica won 11-3 in that game. And so, actually, it looks like the Heat game is on Monday. So I apologize for that. We thought that game was today, but it looks like that game is listed for Monday the 10th. So we'll wait to see that game and that result. But either way, for the Blast, all healthy. No negatives coming out of this weekend. I think obviously some things to build on as you look at the first quarter, the struggles the Blast had in the first quarter and the first half yesterday. So for that, but we'll be able to throw it down this game. I think everything's going to work as we see Gianni down there low, and he's got 2 players of the game. So we'll wait to see Gianni come in. It looks like we're going to celebrate 2 players of the game. So hopefully the interview will we'll be able to hear it here tonight. And we'll throw it down to it in a second. All right.
All right, so we got Vinny, Lucas, hat tricks for each of you. Long night last night, come back real quick today. How hard was it for you guys to get used to get your legs back after a game last night?
As you saw, the beginning of the first quarter was pretty tough until we get our legs going. After that, I think everything came back to normal, and we got going and ended up scoring 14 goals.
Vinny, you guys, last night, tonight, you got to fly to San Diego Wednesday. Then you got Harrisburg here Saturday. Where are you guys mentally? How are you feeling going into the second half of the season?
I mean, Coach is saying time and time again, every game is a playoff game from now on. You know, we can't afford any lapses and any mistakes. It's goal time. We have to win everything now.
San Diego was a rough game here last time. How are you guys? Are you guys ready to go out there? It's a tough place to play.
Oh yes, we're always ready. We love those type of games. That's what we're here for.
All right, guys. Vinny Dantas, Lucas Roque, players of the game, each with a hat trick. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, so Gianni down there with the 2 players of the game. I don't know. Usually when I do that, I don't get the ability to pick 2. I got to make the tough choice and then get somebody mad at me. So I don't know. I guess being the VP, you get to make the easy choices like that. I don't have to start doing those 2 interviews. Let's take a look at the final stats here for the SeaWolves. 13 shots on goal, 7 blocks, 12 fouls, and 11 saves for Cortez. For the Blast, 32 shots on goal, so a 32-13 shots advantage for the Blast. 3 blocks recorded by the Blast and 8 fouls. And then 7 saves by William Vanzella. So 3 goals allowed, 7 saves for Vanzella, as Vanzella has another strong weekend against these 2 teams. Not his 1 goal in 2 games performance of last weekend, but still nonetheless a good performance for the Brazilian goalie. And for the Blast, it's on to San Diego, as Gianni said, a physical game here in Baltimore. That'll be interesting to watch out there in San Diego and see that result. And then back here next Saturday night, Paul Mittermeier will be back home, hopefully, rested, tanned, and ready to call the game alongside Lee Chantre. And we'll be back home here next Saturday night. Tickets are available. Please go online and check that out. Come and see us in person. Otherwise, we'll see you here on MASL TV next Saturday night for the Blast versus the Harrisburg Heat. You've been watching Baltimore Blast Soccer on MASL TV. I was Andrew Primrose. Have a good night.